What is up, good people? Good evening. Happy Friday, good people. Give it a second. Let some folks jump in. Talking a little bit about BDD claims and our course. So putting it out there so people are tracking this. So, yes, and DD. There's a link on my profile that has these checklists and whatnot. So I want to highlight this checklist and I want to hang out for a few seconds. What's going on, RC? How are you, my brother? Yes, we are live on X. Kevin, we are live on X. Yes, we are live on YouTube. Yes, we are on TikTok. We are on the Book of Faces. What is going on, my people? Hope you're well. Trying to pop in at least for a little bit this here month as much as I can from time to time. Yeah, we are all over the place, and more importantly, also making a point to notice that should platforms go away, same username, you'll find me on YouTube. So shameless plug, intentional plug. But want to show this BDD checklist that we have, of course, and also a lot of questions that come up sometimes are secondary claims and things like that. So this is actually a PDF that is available. So these two things are actually here. So the free BDD checklist that you see behind me, as well as the mental health secondaries. You can get those two things there, and they look a little something like this. And this is the mental health secondary one as well. So it kind of lists different things there for folks who might want like a little reference material. So that's available to you. And then I'm also going to show the BDD course that we have. So there's that part there. Kevin, my brother, how are you? I hope you are well. I was waiting long for my decision and learned that filing a FOIA will give me all my files. Yeah, 20 days the VA has. Okay. Yeah. That is true. That is possible. But yeah, just hanging out for a little bit. Hope everybody's well. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're well. Let me know the branch of service that you were in. Always like to know and ask that. But we got folks tuning in from X. So thanks, Brian, for actually commenting, because I always see that people can log in and see what we're doing on X, but I can never really see many comments that come in, right? On the TikTok side, I can't pull comments on the screen the way that we do. So we can do it everywhere else, Instagram and other places, but it just doesn't work when we're doing it on this side of the house for some reason. So just kind of a heads up for that. But yeah, but if you're on YouTube, you definitely can ask your questions and we'll put you on the screen too. So a little shameless plug. Let me put that over here in the middle, actually. Let's see here. John Nice, my brother. How are you? Alrighty, so let's see. On TikTok, we have the Marine Corps in the building. My brother Emperador, the Emperor, coming at us from TikTok. USMC. Awesome. Doing well, brother. Keep doing great things. Man, you know how it goes. We'll be in San Antonio that second to third week of January. So that'll be something good. Looking forward to that. So that's going to be nice. Why are you awake is what I want to know. I love when the nameless people in the crew supposedly are knocking out, and yet I see eyeballs. I'm going to leave it at that. But few things. If you know someone active duty, don't be stingy. There's a link in my bio that takes you to this checklist. You may not be leaving for a while from active duty, So today I want to quickly just give a resource on my link in bio. Wherever you are watching me, you will see my Stan Store, and in there, the very first link is the free BDD checklist, which looks a little something like this. And it's great because this will also give you the ability to see these things and have them at the ready. So it'll break down things to do as you're about to transition, right? There are some folks that have some time and they want to, know, hey, what should I be doing? I have some time before I exit service, yada, yada, yada. So this is a resource that's for you. And when you sign up for this PDF, this checklist, in 2 days, you will get a discount code for our BDD course, which I will show you as well. So we're running a promotion for the end of the remainder of the year. Everything is $20 off. So when you look at my Stan Stores, you'll see that our $67 course is now $47. Our $47 live HCMP class is $27. This coming Wednesday is our last class for the year. And the one-on-ones that I do are from $127 down to $97. So everything went down $20, and we just held it for the remainder of the year. So those things are there. But a little birdie told me if you get the checklist, you'll get a code that you can use in 2 days. And that code will actually apply another discount to the course. It was not by design. It's not but wait, there's more, super rollback. No, it was literally someone, we thought we messed up. I thought I messed up. And we thought that, what's going on, my sister? We thought we messed up because I saw it come through and I was like, why is it 27 when it should be 47 down from 67? And then it was like, oh, wait a second. The checklist has a discount applied as well. So they double stacked it. And you know what? Not going to change it. That to me makes sense. So I like it. So there's a little extra thingamajiggy there. Hope everybody has a great night. Just stopping by, say hello, be blessed. I appreciate you doing amazing things. Gonna get some more likes for your page. I appreciate you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. But yeah, I'm really excited. We got some great things going on. We're going to be in San Antonio next January, and a lot of cool things that are coming up. So, that's what's happening there. But wherever you're following me, wherever you may be watching, I want to impress upon you a few things. Mainly, make sure you're following us on YouTube, because, again, I don't know what's going to happen with TikTok and these type of things. So same username across the board. Shameless plug. We're there. But the checklist is the cat's pajamas. And then I'll show the course here in a second as well. But in that same freebies, downloads, and things we have, you'll see our mailing list, and you'll also see mental health secondaries. Sometimes a lot of veterans, right? So for the active duty folks, get the checklist. For those that are already in the process, have filed, have other things, you have the ability to now get this mental health links, secondary claims. What are things you can file secondary? I have this, what can be that? So it gives you a breakdown of different things that are there. So go ahead and get that. It's a great resource that we put together with the help of Dr. Nolan. He is an amazing psychologist who's been in this space for a very long time. So I wanted to at least highlight that resource that we have. But I'm really excited for 2025 as we close out this year. We have a lot of great things that are coming. So we want to do that. Let's see. We got New York City in the house. Sergeant Lloyd. Where in New York City? I'm from Brooklyn. I'm actually heading to New York City next week. Let's see. Brian on X. Yes, a little different on X, but it works. Yeah, the interface is a little bit different. So I really like that. I like the fact that we can meet our veterans kind of where they're at. And some folks are on X and some folks are here. Again, it's going to sound very self-serving, but the fact is, the one benefit I do like about YouTube is you don't have to have an account, right? So for those listening out there, if you have a veteran who's interested in getting help and you're saying, hey, there's just, these folks over here who kind of give it to you straight and, they pop up, they don't have to be on social media to watch the stuff that we have on YouTube. I think that's key, right? Because sometimes some folks, you can just see the link to a video and watch it. Because social media, for some people, they're just like turn it off, right? They're done with the noise. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to see it. I understand, right? So I show up in different places because the whole point is meeting our veterans where they're at, right? So if you're lurking on TikTok when you should be sleeping, bink, bink. Hello. But you may not want to do the TikTok and you may do the X. Hey, maybe you're on the Book of Faces. Hola. Maybe Instagram's your jam. What up? But on the YouTube side of the house, that's some place where I'm trying to, get a little more intentional there. Plus, I like the fact that they also now have our shorts there. Shorts are longer, so I can really, cross post things and be there. Plus, I also find it's easier to like navigate things. I do a lot of more in-depth stuff. I was showing this yesterday, so I'll show it here again. When it comes to like some of the popular things that we've done going backwards. Actually, let me take Brian off the screen for a second there. Insomnia, that's a big question. That's a great video. A lot of people responded great to, right? The changes for insomnia. How can I file for it? In a nutshell, basically, they said, hey, you can now file for insomnia on its own. So this is, a pretty quick deep dive that I did on that. And the cool thing is you get the ability to see that information, right? I'll bring up things, I'll showcase things. It's easy to reference. Sometimes I'll go deeper into some regulatory things. There's proposed rating changes that are out there. I'll actually bring up, materials. I'll show the reference. I'll show the, rating criteria, where that's coming from. So a lot of these things I think are very useful. One of the videos that people love, again, actually shout out to Brian, the narrator. So if you've ever seen the how-to videos that we have, the voice of narration, it's not mine, it's actually Brian. We have one of our videos that I literally got a comment today, how to file and upload, quick submit, how to submit an intent to file, how to do supplemental claims. Like these are videos that people just love. It's step by step. It walks you through doing things. Folks really, really love it. Someone just commented on how to know if you are 100% permanent total. And I think I have it here. Where is it? Right here. Yeah, literally. Someone literally said, this step-by-step short video did more for me than half a dozen people who couldn't even help and didn't care. The video was very helpful. Uppercase, thank you. There you go, Brian. I didn't send you that message because I was going to send it to you later, but there it is. And if you look at the video, actually, which is ironic, not by design, Brian is in there with Jerry on the thumbnail. So there's that. So tutorials, how to do things. Again, the sleep apnea changes. Oh, sleep apnea is going away. What's going to happen? I'm showing it to you. I'm breaking it down for you. So I'm just really pointing that out because I think it's just a good reference material. Not poo-pooing out of the platforms, just saying, pick your comfort, put on a laptop, put on TV, right? So that's something that's there. But again, our active duty folks, get that checklist. Our folks that already filed and serving, go get those secondaries. They're out there for a reason. I'm 80%. How do I make sure I keep my ratings? It really depends, honestly. A lot of different factors that will go into this. Are the conditions are they static? Is there any likelihood of improvement? Your code sheet, it would be how you would pull these things. You can request it, through a VSO or personnel have access to the system. But the biggest thing is, again, is the condition going to improve? Yes or no. If they're static, there's no likelihood of it getting any better. They're going to go ahead and keep you there, right? And some cases where if it's not static, they'll call you in for evaluation to see if it's not or not. So the biggest thing is, stay on top of your care, right? They're not just going to go make a point to go reduce you, but where are you? Is there likelihood of improvement? Yes or no? And also, obviously, if there are other things you can file and claim, do that thing as well. Appreciate the support, the likes, and all the things being sent. My sister, I appreciate you. You are the cat's pajamas. So yeah, so there's that. Let's see. Brian says, the NCC care, and that's why our content matters. I agree. And if you want to know more about the crew, link in my bio has all that stuff to find our people. So a quick hack there, you literally go to link in my bio and you click on the link. It'll take you to our website. You can click on the little click there and see the About Us. Scroll down and you can meet the team. So there's real people behind the scenes. But in that same vein, you will see on my link in bio the actual course itself, the How to Navigate BDD Claims. You click that, it'll take you to this here, and you can actually see the course breakdown and take a look at what it's all about. I'll give you a quick preview just to kind of show you what it looks like for those folks that are out there. So for our active duty people, we put this together. I'm really happy with how it all came about. So this is kind of like the sales page. It breaks down all the things that are in there. So I'm already logged in, so I can kind of show you a little bit of what it looks like on the sections and all that stuff. So let's take a look here at this. And I'll actually zoom in some just to be able to show you kind of the breakdown. So the biggest thing here is we broke it down into various lessons, so you'll have the ability to see things from the intro to the course. Make sure that that's on screen. Yes, it is. And all the presentation slides. So a quick welcome, intro to BDD course, which is benefit delivery at discharge, which means you're active duty. Within that 180 day to 90 day, you can file your VA claims, and the last 90 days, you're doing your exams. So this will break down what is the BDD course. Gathering evidence and records and documentation, right? What am I supposed to do? How do I do it? Breaks it down. Selecting conditions to file. I don't know what to file. Break it down. Secondary conditions, aggravated conditions. What are those things? Breaking it down. Presumptive conditions, tips, separation, health assessments that you're going to do, the A and Bravo, Alpha Bravo forms. Then regulations and a closeout. These are all videos too. So there's videos of me breaking down these topics as well and resources that go with them. We have buddy statements, lay statements, examples of that, helpful links and forms, where to find certain things, regulation, things like that. And then on top of that, some bonus materials that include mental health symptoms explained, GERD statement sample, headache statement sample, tinnitus statement sample, and another copy of the checklist as well. It's in the course. So I really like it because, again, you know, when it comes to some of these forms, where do I find certain things? How do I go there, et cetera, et cetera? It's all there. And I like the fact that you can pace yourself and you can do this at your own leisure. And we put some time into it. I'm really happy with it. So now we're working on our next course, which will be the on-demand version of the live class, Ace Your CMP, which, again, shameless plug, is the last one is next week. I love doing the live classes, but I know sometimes schedules don't permit for people to be together and be with us on an evening, or sometimes you get an exam before my class comes up. I literally get, if I get 10 questions about this CMP class that I do, I will tell you, and I'll actually bring it up here so you can actually see it. There you go, behind me. If I get 10 questions about the CMP class that I do, 5 of them are, I just got a last minute CMP, I wanted to take your class, do you have anything before my exam? And I'm doing all these different things, and it's like, you know what, we have to put together a on-demand version of that course, and it'll be the same way with resources and all these different things. So that'll be very helpful. Not the sleeping staff on Instagram also giving us eyeballs. Sweet baby Jesus. So there's that. Let's see. If you haven't had an illness documented, do we need a nexus letter? So give me some context, Mia, because it really depends. If, you know, so for those that don't know, what is a nexus letter, right? You may have heard it. Nexus letter is a nexus is a connection. The word nexus means connection, and a nexus letter is how you're connecting your diagnosis currently, your condition currently, with something that happened in service. So the longer you've been out of service, the nexus needs to be stronger, the medical connection, as to my migraines today are due to my complaint in service 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, right? So if you didn't complain in service to a degree, then the question becomes, what did you do? How are you going to argue that? A nexus letter may help. What are you trying to connect? If you're active duty and you're in service, you don't need a nexus letter because you need nothing to connect what happened in service because you're in service, right? So for me, is a question, right? Illnesses and services of, for example, depression or anxiety, you're going to have a current diagnosis, and then what are you pointing that anxiety or depression to, right? Did something happen? Are we talking PTSD? Are we talking other conditions? That's going to dictate how we go about it, right? So that's why I'm saying it that way, because you may not need one, right? You may have medical care post-service that points back to service and it's sufficient, and some folks are missing things, right? So think of a nexus as, you know, a way to connect things. But the question becomes, do you have dots to connect? I did a sit down with Tara, who's on my page, medical provider, and I loved how she said that, right? She writes nexus letters. She provides opinions for veterans. And her point was, I need something to connect. I need dots to connect. If you don't give me things to connect, I can't write you a nexus. So a little perspective when it comes to that. Appreciate you, my sister. Thanks for the likes and support and all the things you sent. You are the cat's pajamas. I appreciate you. Thanks, Iceberg. Thanks, bud. Doing great work. Trying. We're trying. So, yeah, so a few things there for that question that came through, which I think is very pertinent. But yeah, so not going to be on for too long per se. Just really wanted to kind of pop in and just share some things. So again, the checklist, which is, the shite. So there's that, go get that. It's free and it's great to break that things down. So there's that part. So there goes that. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, 100%. So to expand on, I need to get your name too because I know I'm not gonna. Your name kind of throws me off here on social media, right? But to elaborate more, right, on the Nexus part, folks online usually get mixed up with Nexus letters, right? That's a vehicle for a thing, but a Nexus could be a variety of things, right? Records and service or events, as stated here. We have instances where a duty is done in your MOS, cleaning up things, etc. Things you may have done, being exposed to loud environments, right? Like there's a way to connect this. So again, think Nexus, think connections. But I want to make sure we understand that because the problem is there are organizations and entities that will try to sell you a product, i.e. a Nexus letter, and it becomes this is the golden, the silver bullet for my argument. And that's sometimes not the way or the case, right? You may have an instance where they'll send you, like I've seen instances online where a veteran says, I have a Nexus letter from my doctor. What do I do with this? And the responses I've seen are something along the lines of, well, you could buy another Nexus letter from us, so you have two of them. The question was, what do I do with this? Not sell me something else. So that I have a problem with, right? But yeah, a Nexus event, a Nexus, again, thing connection. I have a current diagnosis of something. I have something in service that happened, an event, right? How was my condition caused or made worse, right? This is another thing. Let's go claims, 201, right? 101 basics, 201. Everybody talks about caused by service, but the fact is there are also instances where things are not caused by service. There are instances where things are aggravated by service, right? Aggravation, which means you came into the service, example, with flat feet. And you can't say the service caused this, right? We have to understand how we're arguing something. You came in with flat feet, the service made it worse. There's an aggravation argument to be had. It may seem trivial, but how we make arguments is part of the key here, because there are instances where someone just outright has an issue and they don't know what they're doing. And they're getting denied because they're claiming things incorrectly. You know what I mean? Like, again, as minute as it may be, you'd be surprised the errors and things that pop up. So being aware of what this is, but having those components, if you're going to file for something, understand what's required, how you're filing it, were you exposed to things, was the performance of your duties things that led to said things. I had a veteran, for example, who in the 70s was in the Navy, worked in submarines, but he was a tall gentleman. So he was in tight confined spaces, and because of his duty, he developed certain issues because of what he had to physically do. Arguments can be made, right? Currently at 70, working with a VA attorney. Good luck. You're very welcome, Maya. Let's see, headaches for medication. But again, what's the medication for, right? So again, do we have a condition that has caused us to have to take this medication, which in turn has caused another side effect now, where we have now headaches or migraines or something to that effect, which now is risen to the level of an impairment, which is key here too, right? A diagnosis alone isn't only the argument. We have to be able to argue that it's risen to the level of a compensation. If not, you can also get a 0 because the symptoms are not there to meet compensation requirements. But yeah, let's see. But those can be arguments as well. I'm currently rated 70% for PTSD, and I have another mental health evaluation next Wednesday, and I'm worried. Did you file for multiple things? After doing my research, made a mistake and filed for insomnia secondary to tinnitus. So that's probably going to be a zero-sum situation, unless there's an argument for an increase there. But I don't really see that one potentially going places. And also, when did you get the 70 for the PTSD? But it also comes down to also how we're following things, right? Do we know how we're following something? Why do we follow it that way, right? Do we understand that the insomnia being rated as a standalone to a thing is something that, could be mental health? But in this case, it might be a zero sum, the way you're kind of going at it, because that's a whole nother deep dive that I'll leave for another day. It actually covers some of that in the insomnia video that I have posted as well. Check that out. What type of impairment? Impairment more along the lines of think impairment in the sense that a disability is a medical condition that has risen to the level of impairing you, of being disabling. Because sometimes we have veterans that tend to think, I have migraines. Okay, you have a diagnosis, but a diagnosis in and of itself is not telling full picture. Having migraines does not mean you have a disability. Having anxiety doesn't mean you have a disability. Having GERD doesn't mean you have a disability. But when the symptoms now become impairing and have risen to the level that meet the rating criteria, i.e. migraines, right? Migraines go from just I get them to they are impairing and disabling to me. I'm having episodes that are prostrating in nature and make me have to XYZ and prevent me from XYZ and preclude me from XYZ, so on and so on and so on. So the level of that impairment is going to be key as to how we argue certain things. Especially when we're talking rating criteria. So because I said migraines, we'll jump over to CFR and take a look at that, because I think I like using migraines. It's a great, wrong one. It's a great example that I like to use. So that always, I think works well. So let us look at this, right? If it's starting at the 50, and make sure that you guys can see it, great. So if we're arguing migraines, right, and migraines, I like to use it as a good example because there's a few things here, right? If I say to you, Jan, tell me how bad your migraines are. And sometimes I'll do my one-on-ones. I'll just tear somebody's argument apart all day. And they'll tell me all these things that are on Botox and medication, and they see neurologists, and it's so bad. And sometimes, I'm dizzy and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, that's nice. But you really haven't talked to the rating criteria. So let's look at this. You'll see behind me that at the 50 range, we're looking at migraines with frequent, completely prostrating. What does prostrating mean? To have to stop, to lay down, to shut things down. Prostrating, the word means to lay down. It's an old text language, like I've prostrated myself before the Lord. I've laid down, to lay down, that whole process, right? Prostrate. So I've prostrating attacks where I have to shut it down, just to give context. And prolonged attacks, right? There's prolonged. These are happening so often that there are productive of severe economic inadaptability, right? This is key here, because sometimes we're not factoring in at the 50 range the impact to work. And this is not reaching. This is also facts. You have veterans that truly are out of sick leave. They've missed work. They can't freelance. It has an impact to them in so many ways. It's causing an impact to your economic, ability to do something. So there's an economic inadaptability. At the 30 range, you have migraines that are prostrating in nature, and they occur on average once a month over the last several months. At the 10, they're prostrating in nature. You must lay down, and they're happening about an average of 1 in 2 months over the last several months. And below that, they're less frequent, so they merit a 0. So the biggest thing here is the main two common themes for the rating criteria for migraines is intensity and frequency. Intensity and frequency. Notice how we did not talk about medication. Notice how it does not say how many neurologists that you see. Again, not saying that these are not pertinent things, no, but rather it's the focus of my conversation, and what I need to convey on this exam is the intensity of my migraines, prostrating in nature. What does that mean? What are my examples? I'm not walking in there either saying, hi, IDP have prostrating migraines about 2 a month to 3, sometimes 4, and I'm out of sick leave. No, right? So I have to give examples of what prostrating means to me. What exactly is the thing that I am dealing with? What do I have? What do I do when this prostrating things happen, right? Your example, your truth matters. And then how often do you get them, and the duration of those things, intensity and frequency. How intense, how frequent, how intense, how frequent. And at the 50 range, how does it impact my job? What's going on? Am I missing things, leave and whatever? So you see that We have to know how to argue these things. It seems trivial, but somebody Googles something. It's just like, I'm glad that you can quote something, but can you speak to the symptom? Can you speak to that level of impairment? So I go on this rant to say that there's a difference of migraines. You get a migraine and take an Advil, you're good to go. That's fine. I'm saying forget the migraine pills. We're at a level where, regardless of healthcare and all that, these symptoms are there. That's the conversation, right? But you think you're impressing by saying Botox and meds and this and that. Be careful. Let's see. Let's see. A good point here as well. If in service you switch duties off the records but never switch MOS, get it in writing if possible. Again, your job was, I'm in Iraq, I'm deployed, I am fill in the blank, but now I'm covering down with this unit doing these different things. Speak to those things. Again, change of duty. You may not change MOS. You're still 31 Bravo MP, but now you're attached to an infantry unit. You're now doing that. Vice versa, whatever the case may be, or you're infantry and now you're attached to it. Things happen, right? So key points, again, anything you can get to those assignments, special duties, etc., that expose you to do things that can corroborate your argument, it helps. All right. I concur 100%. Angel, my brother, how are you? AMA, have you seen differences? So the legacy for sure, Angel, were very much longer claims. The AMA with the Appeals Modernization Act now is a short time frame, so they're moving to that one. As far as turnaround times, they'll usually say something like 160 days, 159.5, whatever case may be, but much quicker than the legacy ones for sure, right? So, but yeah, that's what the turnaround typically look like. But again, many factors factor into that. After doing my research, I made a mistake. I got that one. Went to step 7. They put in a letter saying my direct deposit was bad. Oh, that sucks. So what ended up happening with that? Just found out. Effective date justification. Not when was your effective date? As far as right, what's the justification though? Right, because there are instances where they'll look at the most closer date. Right, they have instances where like the diagnosis date, etc., comes into play. So. That's something that I have seen in Gospel. Let's see, Gospel. I'm that veteran, rated 50%, difficult and scary condition to have. Yes. Wisconsinite. Oh, my husband could easily be at a 30, but fits at the 50, completely impacts his ability to function. Yeah, but again, how do we speak, to these things? That's a big one there, right? Again, as we're kind of hanging out here for a little bit, I'm trying to pop in, throughout the remainder of the month. Specifically also to make a point and say, I don't know what may happen with social media, but should there be changes, same username, YouTube. Just saying. Because we're going to continue doing what we're doing. But right now we're live. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We are on TikTok. We are on X, Twitter, and Facebook. So we are all over the place. But for my TikTok crew, should changes happen, nothing changes here. Just make sure you know where to find us, right? That's the biggest thing I want to make sure that I constantly hit. For my active duty folks, as you're kind of jumping in the link in my bio, you will see the link that will take you to this free checklist. So if you know someone active duty, link in my bio, get that free checklist so you can start planning for that departure as you potentially may be looking to file a claim in some shape, fashion, or form. The man is quintuple streaming. Yes, we are quintuple streaming. But I'll tell you what sucks though, because I like to do it this way because I want to be able to kind of capture as many people as I can. When you stream from your desktop with a stream key, they suppress the views, right? I'll get more views if I go on my phone, but I like to be able to pick these things up and show them as well. So there's that. And then for my veterans that already filed, etc., check out this great document we put together with Dr. Nolan, specifically looking at secondaries and different types of secondaries. So many things are there for secondary claims and mental health. So it's a great document that we put together. Feel free to get it. It's free as well. That's the link in the link in my bio. And as I was saying, for the BDD course specifically, for those that may look to get that, this is what the whole course is. So when you get the course, again, links in my bio. If you get the checklist, there's a discount code in 2 days. So check it out. The course breaks down, intro to BDD claims, gathering evidence, records, documentation, selecting conditions to file, Every module has a video. Selecting conditions to file, secondaries, aggravations. I cover those things. Presumptive conditions. I talk about sleep study tests, self-health assessment, separation health assessment, rather. Regulations and closeouts, some samples, resources, buddy statements, late statements, examples, helpful links and forms, where to find them, CFR, things like that. And then some templated go-bys to kind of give an idea of tinnitus, GERD, headache statements, 31 mental health symptoms explained document that we added there. And again, a variety of different things, common forms and so forth. So you have the ability to have all this stuff here for you. So really excited with how this all kind of came together. But that is in my link in bio with the how to navigate BDD claims. So it's 47. You go ahead and click on that. It'll take you to the website. You can read about it there, take a look at it, see what it's all about. Share with a veteran. It is on sale. And again, if you get the checklist, there's a discount added to the discount. So that's going on until the end of the month. And then the last class of the year for our ACE Your CMP class, that is going on this coming Wednesday. I'm also working on in 2025 to have an on-demand ACE Your CMP course. So definitely looking forward to that coming down your way. So a lot of cool things that we'll be kicking off, including our Big 3 games. Part of the Big 3, we have a partnership there. So more to follow on another stream for that. Let's see, I get off active duty in 42 days. What should I do? Checklist? Well, first of all, no, you already passed that period there. So what did you do? That's a question, actually. Did you do the BDD process or not? Where are you? You're past that 90 day, that 180 to 90 day window for BDD is the thing. In your case now, we have to prepare to file after you leave because it won't work for the BDD. You missed that window. Okay. What's going on, K9? How are you? Let's see, you may have covered this. I'm gonna do a video standalone. I've been kind of dragging feet because I just get really triggered when it comes to some of these things, but I'll say it this way. This is not the first time changes have come. There was this concept way back when where there were, cuts that were coming from Congress specifically. Our things were under attack and people were freaking out, and there's a process of how this works. Changes to ratings are coming. People are freaking out. We cover these things. So, I like to kind of let things simmer down a little bit. Moral story, are there, as far as disability benefits going away, that's not how it works, right? That's not necessarily some of the language. There is language in place and things that are looked at. Specifically, what is looked at is that there are expired appropriations. I'll say it this way. I am a disabled Army combat veteran. I'm medically retired from federal law enforcement. I worked in Homeland Security. I ran departments and programs there, rather, and I wrote policy. We did budgetary requests, so I understand a thing or two when it comes to how these things work. So appropriations is how the government does the business of the business, and we have expired appropriations. So even though it's expired, they will still have programs running and paying out, but new things can't be done until appropriations are fixed. So if there's going to be a restart of appropriations, some things may have to be reviewed, and the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, will look at, hey, does it make sense to renew the VA's electronic records optimization, blah, 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 that already has a cost overrun and they've never truly fixed. So yeah, there may be some cuts for sure in the system, but trust me, there's many places where cuts should happen before they get to a place of taking a veteran's benefit. It doesn't quite work like that, right? There's rumor mills of healthcare being privatized. Again, rumors. There's talks of all these things. The fears are valid for sure. I understand that. But it's all a thing of they want to look at ways to make the government more efficient. That's it. And there are things that are expired that will not get renewed until they review them. In there are line items that will potentially be cut. A lot of those items do fall into the healthcare side of the house. But there's also language for the BBA side of the house, but not to the point where they're taking your disability benefits or cutting your benefits. It doesn't work that way. There's a process of how the government works, first of all. And even then, they even have a targeted end date for DOGE of May 2026. So their self-imposed 2-year program of cleaning the government and cutting trails, supposedly. We'll see how that works. I'm not very much losing sleep over it. I'm more of we attack what's happening now. We cross bridges as we get them. Valid concerns, for sure. until we have more to work on. Then we can go off of and pivot as needed there. But business as usual, honestly. But there definitely will be things that are going to be, cut. I talked about this yesterday specifically. I got a video that I'll do on this, but this OIG report just came out. And this one was looking at, there was a lot of misspending and overdevelopment of claims. And they even cite here instances where this was happening to the tunes of millions of dollars, literally. Instances where about $1.4 million were spent in unnecessary costs associated with unwarranted examinations and medical opinions that were not needed for that period of time. So again, that number is way more than it is. In a period of time that they looked at, they saw about a good $1.4 million. You zoom out to a broader period of time, there's much more money being spent there in some shape, fashion, or form. So underpayments, expenses paid, wasted resources, exams done needlessly when they did not need to happen. So there were instances in this report where they found a variety of different things that sadly took place. Overdevelopment of claims, which you see here, right? So there was overdevelopment errors, there were monetary impact errors, there were potential impact errors where, claim processors, they failed to gather evidence before denying a claim. I didn't say it. OIG said it. December 3rd, 2024. Literally. A potential error occurs when VA claims, when claim processors clearly fail to gather all evidence before denying a claim. Mistakes have been made. Mistakes have been made. So there's that part there. So that's one way to, again, to put perspective. So things like there's going to be things that are going to definitely be looked at because we keep seeing it, right? When I teach my CMP class, I always reference this other OIG report where there are error rates at the 68% rate, which you literally kind of saw there very briefly, where processors of claims did not do things correctly. And this report of 2022 looked at the fact that the BVA could improve the accuracy and completeness of their medical request opinions for VA claims. In 2022, fast forward to 2024, December 24, I literally just read the fact that we have instances where processors apparently still fail to gather evidence correctly in same fashion and form. It just is what it is. Great people, mind you, for sure, but there are failures in the system. So efficiencies for sure have got to be made. Things will be for sure, but it doesn't mean that by default it's I'm coming to take your rating. Stop it. There's so many things before we even get to that point. Plus expenditure and effectiveness. There's so many other places, and there's also so many veterans as a whole in the incoming cabinet and different places and in Congress and Senate and stuff. So there's a lot of things, right? But again, I understand it's scary to potentially, I depend on this to survive, and they're gonna take it. That's all we hear. And then the talking heads, they go crazy and they start saying things and people get freaked out. I get it. But no. Let's see. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah. Cost of living, kilo. Yep. Agreed. A lot of the fat in the system. Hopefully they do a deep dive and use this capital and not a... Yeah, and again, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody promises to do a thing, and regardless of what, don't get enamored with the names of these people, because promises were made at every administration, and what actually happened was also at times not exactly what was promised. I always say that when it comes to politics and, different things like this, we're pawns. They use us as to pull the heartstrings of people. I'm going to take care of veterans. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And sometimes we don't see it that way. Things sound nice on the outside to people who think everything is well. You ask a civilian if things are well, and they'll tell you, you guys are great. They're giving you guys all these different things. Community health care, it went off out of hitch. You know what I mean? So sometimes we think, the assumption is that things would just change overnight, but promises have always been made. Veterans have been dangled, and what actually happens sometimes is very different, right? So I'm a skeptic of many things. Coming from government, just how inefficient it is. You gut the government, and that sounds great until you realize that, first of all, we can't get even this backlog done. If you think we have a backlog at the VA alone, wait till you try to clean up things and actually make these things you're going to happen. It's going to make things worse, which in turn causes angst, which in turn causes outcry, which in turn causes now constituents to speak up, an uproar, and before you know it, things begin to blow in their face. So it's like that new commander, military, comes in with all these ideas. You're a butter bar. You literally are walking in here thinking you're going to do something because you just came out of OCS. And then you really learn quickly that things are not maybe the way you thought you were. School and activities are two different things. Not denying that things may not get better, but I'm an optimist, but I'm also a skeptic. The link in my bio has is what this is. So this is the link in my bio that has our website, classes. Go ahead and get the checklist for the active duty people, the secondary list as well. And this coming Wednesday is our last HRCMP class, so you can see all the things that I have there. So that's my website behind me and my little crew there that you see. Alrighty, so if there's a marked improvement, K9, for a reduction, right? If we got an increase, why in turn now we're showing a reduction back down? It could be for a variety of reasons. Was there a reexamination? Is there a marked improvement? There's something, sound that off. And just because, excuse me, you get a proposed reduction, that doesn't mean you cannot fight it back, right? You have a process to be able to push back and show that you indeed are at the 50 in this range, right? Because you went 30 to 50. Now they're saying, hey, reduction is proposed. Why are you proposing it? This is my I would combat this way. This is the proof to show the opposite. There is not a marked improvement, or whatever the case may be. So, yeah. All right, good people. Like I said, I'm not going to stay too long on this one. Just wanted to kind of pop in like I said I would, and, make a point to just talk a little about the things that we have. So for our active duty folks, go get that checklist. Which is a little something like this. And for our regular vets, go get that secondary one that's out there, which is pretty much the cat's pajamas. If you're not following me on YouTube, do so, because should this go away on the TikTok, at least you know where to go. Plus, I'll be starting to do a lot of more things there for long form content, reference material. I just find it's better for folks to be able to reference things there and all the stuff. So that's what you'll see me do, like my deep dives on proposed changes and policy changes and different things, and I'll reference materials, so it's easier to reference things there. So there's that. But hope that this was helpful. Hope that you are well. If you have a CMP coming up, hope to see you Wednesday night. We'll be there. And outside of that, I appreciate y'all. Have a great evening. And we will be back. Be good, y'all.